Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. NASA's Perseverance rover is designed to explore Jezero crater on Moon, asteroid Vesta, Mars or asteroid Ryugu? The answer to this is Mars. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given in the Hindu article. Remember, one of the important pointers that we have to remember from the preliminary examination point of view is NASA is set to become the first space agency to fly a drone in the atmosphere of Mars. This can be a probable question in your preliminary examination. What is so unique about this particular project? This will be one of the projects which will try and identify, look for evidences whether life was persisting in Mars in the past. So what will it do? It look for biosignatures that if it was favorable for the microbial life. Why is NASA focusing on the biosignatures and microbial life? That is because the past of the Earth were similar. In case we are able to find out some biosignatures and we are able to take up this material, transport it into Earth, we would be in a situation to understand the past of the Earth as well as the Mars. That is why NASA's Perseverance rover is there. It will pick up the samples and it will be sent to Earth for the clear examination in the near future. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Sambar Lake. It is India's largest inland salt lake in Rajasthan. It is surrounded by Aravalli hills on all sides. Sambar has been designated as a Ramsar site. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given under this article. So remember that Sambar Lake is in the state of Rajasthan and it happens to be India's largest inland salt lake. It is spread over Jaipur, Nagaur districts and some part is also present in Ajma. Sambar Lake receives water from rivers namely Samod, Khari, Mantha, Kandela, Metha and Rupanga. Remember all these important details which can be important from your preliminary examination point of view. The Sambar Lake has been designated as a Ramsar site. That is because this has been associated as a wetland of importance because this is a key wintering area for number of migratory birds which come from a different region, and this particular lake is a host to number of birds. It is also the source of Rajasthan salt production as well. Now let's look into the next practice question. Gamosa, recently seen in news, is a traditional Assamese scarf towel, a long vertical paper scroll used to tell stories from religious epics in West Bengal, one of the popular folk dances of Madhya Pradesh, an oral storytelling technique in Katha tradition performed in the villages of Andhra Pradesh. The answer to this is it is a traditional Assamese scarf towel. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given in this article. So a gamosa is a traditional Assamese scarf towel. This is rectangular cloth which is white in nature but it is also bordering with what is called as the motifs. So do remember, when it comes to gamosa, there are two types of gamosas. One is what is called as uka or the plain kind, which is used to wipe sweat or dry the body after bath. The other is what is called as the fullam, which is decorated with floral motifs to be gifted as a memento or during festivals such as Bihu. This is also having what is called as the cultural identity. How gamosa came to symbolize Assamese nationalism in 1916 when the Assam Chhatra Sanmilan, a students' organization, was formed, followed by the Assam Sahitya Sabha, a literary body. So this clearly goes on to show that when people wear this on the neck, it clearly projects the Assam cultural identity. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Munich Security Conference, which of the following statements is or correct? It is held annually by an independent think tank called International Institute for Strategic Studies. It has been held in Munich, Germany since 1963. The answer to this is 2 only. Why? The first option is wrong because the think tank that we are speaking here, the International Institute for Strategic Studies, does not conduct the Munich Security Conference. Instead, it conducts what is called as the Shangri-La Dialogue. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given under this article. It is an annual conference which debates all the international security policy. It has been held in Munich, Germany since 1963. It publishes what is called as Munich Security Report, an annual digest of relevant figures, maps and research on crucial security challenges. What exactly happens? We have the officials and the non-officials who take up this particular clause of identifying what are the security issues across the world. So these security issues are discussed, and ultimately, in case they can give some resolution to it, these will be discussed and ultimately delivered to a particular country. So it is a particular platform for both the official and non-official diplomatic initiatives to bring couple of leaders on a single platform and basically bring a peaceful resolution to all the conflicts through an informal dialogue within the international security community. Now let's look into the next practice question. In the context of mitigating the impacting global warming due to anthropogenic emissions of carbon dioxide, which of the following can be potential sites for carbon sequestration? Abundant and uneconomic coal seams, depleted oil gas reservoirs, subterranean deep saline formations. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. This happens to be a previous year question. So what is carbon sequestration? Basically this is nothing but the process of capturing and storing what is called as the atmospheric carbon dioxide. So what exactly happens? We have what is called as terrestrial sequestration, which happens on a natural process where the carbon that is released in the atmosphere is sucked by the forest, by the trees, and this is saving what is called as the carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere. And apart from this, as a human made process, we can again sequester the carbon, which means to say we are reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere with the goal of reducing the impact of climate change. How? By using all the carbon dioxide capture techniques and pushing them in the depleted oil or the gas reserve, in the unminable coal belt, or in the deep saline formations as well. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this previous year question. Now let's look into the fact of the day. What are we discussing about? Sakka Nankana Sahib. Nankana Sahib is the birthplace of first Sikh Guru, who happens to be Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It was also the site of first big agitation by the SGPC to take back the control of Gurudwaras from Mahants who were backed by the British. What exactly happened? We all remember about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. After the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, one of the other massacres that history has shown with respect to the Sikh agitation is what we have called as the Nankana massacre. What is this Nankana massacre all about? When it comes to this particular massacre, we have what is called as the Gurudwara Reform Movement or the Akali movement, which was a peaceful batch of reformist Sikhs who were subjected to a murderous assault on 20th February 1921 in the holy Gurudwara at Nankana Sahib, and now it marks 100 years since this massacre has taken place in India. Gurudwara Nankana Sahib was managed by Mahant Narayan Das in early 20th century. What was this whole issue? Why did it lead to this massacre? That is because the Gurudwara had a huge property of nearly 19,000 acres. It was also having fertile land as well. It yielded enormous amount of income, and as a result, all these Mahants who were associated with the Gurudwara eventually became corrupt. Apart from that, there was a particular procedure that was laid in the Sikh religion as to how the Gurudwara has to conduct its activities. This was again violated by the Mahants, and at the same time, some ethos and values established by the Gurudwara were completely not taken into picture by the Mahants, and as a result, what we have is the Sikh religion and its people who enter the particular fold of Gurudwara. They request that they want to take over this Gurudwara in a non-violent manner. They plead right in front of these Mahants, but when this request was not accepted by the Mahant, what we have is an armed attack that was unleashed by the Mahant and his group, where men were equipped with firearms, sticks and sharp-edged weapons, and they go against the Sikh community, and this leads to killing of nearly 56. That is why this particular massacre is called as Nankana Sahib massacre. And do remember, this happens to be the 100th year where this massacre has taken place, so it might be asked in your preliminary examination. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.